Okay, have fun.
Oh, welcome everyone. So thank you so much for signing up for today's workshop tutorial or whatever you call it. It's a bit of an announcement that we are introducing a new fantastic tool, GitHub Campus. We signed up an agreement with them, and as an institution and as academic, we are entitled to some benefits. All our students can use that, and all of us as researchers can use that. I'm going to do a very short walk through the GitHub Education and what's on offer. And hopefully we're also going to have some time to set up your accounts there, and you can start digging into all the fantastic things that GitHub is able to offer. Now, before we start, anybody heard before about GitHub or used that before? Anyone?
Yes, I did.
Alicia, you absolutely, because you're we basically started using this tool quite a few months ago, and it was a test run. So we did it for research and for teaching, and I've been using this tool not only for all my projects for probably last 2 to 3 years at least. And I started using GitHub in my classroom environment, where I set up a GitHub Classroom for my teaching projects. So I'm going to screen share in a second, and all the presentation slides will be available later. And also I will ask for that recording to be put somewhere on public, so where all we can access it. But I would suggest that you all get yourself ready with your computer, because I really want you to just dig in and see what you can get. So hopefully we'll be setting up so what you'll be doing practically, you will be setting up your GitHub account if you don't have one, and then we will be applying for academic benefits, so you all have access to all the fantastic tools. And then we'll start just with that very simple project that you can do. All right, so let me start screen sharing. Do you see my screen now?
No, not yet. Oh yes, we can see it.
All right, so let me just move zoom around a little bit. So as I'm setting this up, can you talk to me a little bit and just say like what you're here, which particular aspect of the of what's being offered you're interested in: research, teaching, project management, or just looking around?
Bit of everything.
Everything. So
bit of everything.
Let's shop around. So yep. So let's start. So this is the GitHub Campus program, and GitHub. What's GitHub? GitHub is a collaborative cloud platform. This is where you can create projects, where you can keep track of those projects, and the most important part of the GitHub is that it's using Git, which allows you to version control, which means that it allows you to undo those changes that you do to your project at any point in time, and really at any point in time. So you may think about that as so you have undo function in your Word. So this is at the level of a project where you can undo and go back to the step where something went wrong. So that's what version control is about. And most important part, you can share it with others. So you can share it with your team. It allows you to do your team projects. It allows you to share with the world. And also, just because of that academic benefits, it can be both. It can be shared on your own, or it can be just as close as you yourself. Right. Originally, so if you dig into the history of the GitHub, originally it started as a software development program, but these days it's not really limited to that. And it's not that unusual to see a lot of educational projects there. You can see lots of arts projects there, just because of that power of collaboration and accessibility. And of course, free access for academics that allows GitHub to conquer the world and be there. These days, when you apply for jobs in, it's not that uncommon to ask for your GitHub repository. So when they refer to repository, they refer to projects. So that's their term to use for projects. Now I have this very, very short introductory video, which allows you to see like how it works. So let's have a look at that, and then we'll dig in and have a look at what we can use on the GitHub.
Okay, what is GitHub? Well, GitHub is a platform that helps people solve problems by building software together. So, how does it work? This is Sam. Sam works on tractors all day, but not in the way you might be thinking. She builds the software that helps make tractors more efficient. She does this on GitHub with the help of her team, VJ, Melinda, and Mike. Now, even though they all work on the same project, Sam and her team don't all work in the same part of the world. This is Eddie. Eddie also works on tractors all day, except he actually works on the tractors all day. And this is the Harvester L700. It's the latest flagship in the company's fleet of tractors. It's full of sensors and processors that produce a ton of diagnostic data. Eddie has a great idea for how farmers might share their data and improve their harvests. So Eddie opens an issue on GitHub. Issues are discussion threads where people can report bugs, request features, or even just ask questions. Sam is the first one on her team to see Eddie's issue, and she thinks that VJ would be the best person to start the job. And here's where we get into the nuts and bolts. Eddie isn't the only person using the Harvester L700. All over the world, other tractors are collecting moisture data, and they need to keep running smoothly even while VJ is working on the new features. He needs a dedicated place to experiment, so none of his changes end up on the farm before they're ready. So he creates a branch of the code, an alternate timeline where he can safely make changes to the software. Now he's ready to start writing a new feature. GitHub tracks VJ's changes and saves snapshots of his progress. When he's ready to collaborate on the changes with his team, he opens a pull request on GitHub. Pull requests let you show others the changes you're proposing so they can review and discuss them. This means VJ's teammates can help with roadblocks and even make improvements. On GitHub, everyone has a copy of the project. So if Melinda has an idea for something that will help make VJ's work even better, she can add it to the branch herself. GitHub keeps a record of everyone's contributions and feedback in the pull request, alongside relevant messages from the team's other systems. Once the team has signed off on the changes, VJ can incorporate the new code into the project. The new feature will be available to everyone as soon as he merges it in. Now farmers everywhere can all benefit from Eddie's great idea. But this is really only the beginning of the story. Because GitHub is the largest community of developers in the world, with millions of people sharing their projects, Eddie's idea could end up helping people in unimaginable ways. What kinds of problems are you trying to solve? Whether you're an engineer, a code enthusiast, or even a farmer trying to harvest grain, software touches every corner of our lives. GitHub is where people build that software. It's how they build software, together.
So as I mentioned, it started as a software development platform, but these days it's definitely not limited to software at all. So let's get back to the presentation. Now, what I suggest, so this is the link, and I'm going to post that link in the chat. So I suggest that we'll go and explore what's happening there. So this is our GitHub. So this is my GitHub account, and that's why it's all set up. But I suggest that you go there and you sign up with GitHub. So the way, so when you go there, you probably see something like this. So this is where you need to sign up. And sign up is very, very straightforward. So I suggest to have like really something to take away with you. Take away your GitHub account. So if you go and sign up, my computer is a little bit slow. Loading. It's a little bit slow on my side. So it probably will be easier for me just to log out from here. Right, so it will look something like this. So when you sign up, it will be just a few lines that you need to provide. So your email, example, let's see this one. Wait. Right. All right, and then you set up your password, and then you continue with the rest of the information. They will be very, very straightforward. So when it's going to send you a verification email to your email account so that you should be able to log in. Now, just I wonder if anyone is doing this, or should I wait for people to finish up? All right, anyone can talk to me?
Sorry, say that again, Maria.
I'm just wondering if anyone is following me. So
yep, definitely. I've got a screen that's got what do you want to do first, create a repository organization, that sort of thing. That's where I'm up to.
So you just need to sign in and create your account first, because if you don't do that, you won't be able to proceed. So just create your account. It's going to send you a verification email, and you need to approve it to move on. Because at the later stage, we're just going to apply for academic benefits so that you're all set up. All right, so hi, yeah, Janine, you're on the right place. So you just join and just make sure that you complete all the information. Perfect, guys. So the team is all set up. All right, so good. So this is, just need to move Zoom around. Right. So it allows us to create projects to keep them on track, which means it has some inbuilt project management features, which allows you to distribute the work between your team members and control the work. So you may, if you're familiar with Trello and other project management software, it's quite similar to that. It also allows you to create files, so you can use whatever files you want. The only thing that I would suggest, if you're going to use public repositories, don't put your data, sensitive data in your public repositories, because you may have some ethical issues. But apart from that, so any files can be put on your GitHub. I'm going to show you a couple of projects which I have and how I use it. So hopefully you're going to do the same. Now, it's also quite easy to share your project with others. So for dissemination purposes, it can be your papers, it can be your data, it can be like any, data analysis type of thing which you want to upload. And this is not limited to any particular computer, any environment or any language or whatever other data analytical tools they are using. So you can just put your files in there and distribute it. Apart from that, you are able to use GitHub to build your personal website, and it's quite easy workflow. I'm going to go through that as well. Now let's get back to the presentation. Right, so GitHub, so if you see like here on a couple of slides, so this is what the GitHub logo is. It's called AutoCAD, and GitHub is very is making a particular point in making the work engaging, and this is where they put all these AutoCAD. So every now and then they're coming up with a new icon, with a new logo for those AutoCADs. And as part of their campus program, they are sending us a pack of all those stickers. So if you're interested in where you can get any materials or any stickers or any distribution information for your students, please send me an email, and I'm very, very happy to share what I have. So those stickers are really, really nice, and what students usually do, they put them on their laptops, like on top of their laptops, and this is how people have fun and engage. So again, so what you can do, so you use it to create and host. So originally it was a software code, but now it's not limited to that. You can share your work as with others, as with your team, or you can make it private and keep your repository, your project only to yourself. I prefer to keep all my data analytical projects on GitHub just for security. I don't trust my computer, absolutely. OneDrive is a good option, but OneDrive doesn't really have all the capabilities of that version control, which allows me to undo those mistakes. And nobody's perfect, mistakes happen in your data analysis as well as with all other work that you are doing for your research and your teaching. You can collaborate on a project, or you can, again, because the repositories there are quite a large number of public repositories. So you may look and search for existing projects that you are interested in from other researchers. And if you're interested to contribute, for example, you see a particular piece of analytical work or particular data set that you are interested in, or particular data analysis which is being done, and you're interested to contribute or extend the data set or extend the analysis, you can open an issue with the project for that researcher, and the researcher will know that you are interested in the work. And from my experience, that was a much more effective way of contacting people and starting collaborating with other people rather than just sending them an email. Because when you open an issue on GitHub, they see that you are very interested in that, and you are in the same spot, and you know what exactly are the changes that you're going to propose. Now, you can host any open source software, and you may think, so what is the catch? So where GitHub is making money? So GitHub is making money by charging enterprises, big companies, for them hosting their closed source projects and charging for private repositories. But again, as academics and as an institution, as part of their campus program, we have a luxury that we are not limited in terms of how many private repositories we have and public repositories we have. Also, GitHub comes with analytical tools and partners. So they have a really big range of partners, which we have access to as free access as academics. And this is where we can explore them. Yeah, let me move on. Then you mentioned that you cannot create accounts. Any particular issue?
They asked me to enter the username, but when I enter, they said not available.
Oh, you just change to something else, because it's very popular platform. So that's why you need to have a look. So what is the username which will be available? You can change your username later if you are not happy with that. And you can also, like, with your emails, you can sign up with any email you want. But later stage, you will, just because you're going to add those academic benefits, you need to add additional email, and that will be your VU email. So just make sure that you have your VU email somewhere. It should not be your primary email, but you need to have access to the email, because this is where they're going to send you a confirmation so that you can get access out to those academic benefits.
Yeah, thank you.
So you can sign up with anything you want, and then later in the profile, you can go and like change that to what you want. But again, your GitHub username is quite unique, and in a sense that usually people may not know your name, but they may know your GitHub username, just because you cite it everywhere. And from my experience, journals also, if I'm sharing my data, it's quite normal to include a link to my GitHub. Or if I'm sharing my data analysis, quite common to include the GitHub link. But we'll talk about reproducible research and how it fits with the GitHub philosophy. Now let's move further. Now we also, as part of the offer, so I've been talking about using GitHub for research, and I'm going to talk about that later. But the bigger proportion of GitHub is GitHub for education. So GitHub Education division is what we're using for our GitHub Campus, and we are in a fantastic group company. So all big universities all are there and actively using GitHub. What's on offer? So this is a brief summary of what they offer. So they offer GitHub Student Developer Pack. They call it Student Developer Pack, but it's actually not only for students. So this is their American US way of calling academics. So GitHub Student Developer Pack is basically an academical pack that we can use. So it's not only free for students, it's free for academics as well. Now, they do have a separate GitHub Teacher Toolbox, which is just fantastic. It comes with a classroom, and it comes with lots of resources, which allows you to automate submission for your students. So it's quite similar, and it allows integration with learning management systems, which means that you can you can integrate it with your VU Collaborate shell. And then you can set up your assignment at the GitHub, and your students so you set up this assignment once, and then you can roll it over every time. Now, compared to VU Collaborate, when you use GitHub Classroom, this is where students need to contribute. So that's starting committing, as they call it, to GitHub repository, and there is 0, or I would say minus 100% chance that your students will come back with a with an excuse that my computer broke, something happened, right? So their work will always be on the GitHub because it's a cloud sharing, but this is a good thing. Nobody else would be able to access the work apart from the students, or if you are setting up a group assignment, only that group of students will be able to use it. Apart from that, GitHub Teacher Toolbox comes with lots of educational resources, and they try and been very successful in building up a network and community of teachers. And when we talk about teachers, we talk about higher ed, where people share their experience, where the people share not only experience, not only using GitHub, but also in some subject areas. So you may want to explore that at a later stage. Now, so this is the GitHub Classroom. This is like the main tool which comes for teaching. It's very easy to set up your coursework and roll over coursework from one semester or block to another one. So, and the philosophy is set it once and then just concentrate on your teaching. So don't worry about anything else. So you can set up your assignments in a quite easy way. Again, if you need to revert any changes, you are able to do that. Go back historically with version control feature. Quite easy. Now, they also put a lot of efforts in advertising through GitHub Campus Experts and Advisors. So these are two training programs which they devise to engage with universities. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but GitHub Experts is training which they provide for students. And this is not technical training. So we're talking about building soft skills, leadership skills, public speaking, talking about things that matters for your course, things that matters for your career. And they also have GitHub Campus Advisors, which is a teacher training. Again, so their understanding of a teacher is a lecturer, right? So they provide some access to educational resources which we may use in our practices. I think it's just become especially important now when online learning is really on a big rise and big demand. Right. So we also have GitHub Campus program, which is just particular a smaller sense of that GitHub Campus program which we are participating in, when they come with additional benefits, providing additional access to some software and some educational materials. So what I suggest that we go and just have a look there. Right, so these are GitHub Education. You need to sign in with the GitHub Education. I'm going to send you the link so that you can start enjoying this. So this is the way where they may ask you to provide your VU-based address, because they don't give that access to anyone. They're just with any email. And then you can start just digging into that. And let's have a look. The very first thing that we're going to have a look is particular division. So how can we use our GitHub Campus? Now, again, it started as a package of technical tools, but now we think about the software. Not technical tools, not in the sense, again, so it started with coding, but these days it's far away from coding, and it's quite common to see very common software packages available for use for academic programs. It's a training which they provide for faculties, and they really want to support and connect with communities, because sharing is the philosophy of the GitHub. That's why sharing and connecting communities is really big focus. And communities, technical communities, are not that technical. So it comes with a lot of community building tools, and we're going to have a quick look at that. Now, for teaching the part which we're going to concentrate is GitHub Classroom. Again, each of these features deserves a workshop on its own because of all the huge potential that it comes together with. Now, research, the focus is on GitHub teams and individual projects. And then student engagement, so GitHub Experts and GitHub Advisors, which allows not only teacher training, academic training, but also collaboration and engagement with students. And now let's move further. Now let's have a look at the GitHub Classroom. So again, I mentioned already quite a few things which differentiates GitHub Classroom from View Collaborate. And we should not really think about GitHub Classroom as something different. It's basically one of the ways to enhance our View Collaborate experience and to a little extent automate our work. Again, in a simplistic sense, you may host your assignments there. And assignments can be very, very different from like totally non-technical disciplines to very deep, like some coding stuff there. The idea is that you set up your classroom once, and then you can roll it over. And it can be under your profile or under the profile of the institution. You need to set up your organization, and so when you're going through that, you will need to use VU institution as your institution. And it also provides you with lots of teaching resources. So setting up your classroom is pretty straightforward. And they have quite a few manuals available. You can use either, so you can set up like, what you will need to do, you will need to sign up with an account. You need to set up your organization, which is VU, and then you can need to set up your classroom for a particular unit which you are doing. Once you're done that, you're basically set up. You set up your starter assignment, which allows your students to have access to that assignment, and you post a link to that assignment at VU Collaborate. Once the link is posted, your students can have access there and they can start using your assignment. Assignment can be either individual or it can be a group project. So with individual assignments, it's only you as an educator and your particular student who has access to that project or repository, if we use the correct terminology. If you set up a group assignment, then the project will be visible to team members and you as an educator. Again, there is a way how you can automate and convert groups from the VU Collaborate so that the same groups will be here at GitHub Classroom. It's quite easy to integrate. The only thing with assignments is that you need to be aware that VU requires all assessment to be submitted to VU Collaborate as well. So, for example, I ask my students to provide a copy of their assessment to VU Collaborate. Or in terms of deadlines and everything, so everything is set here on the GitHub Classroom, and everything is the same at VU Collaborate. But from my experience, and I've been doing it for the last, I would say 6 months, definitely with all the units, marking assessment at VU here is quite simple, right? And again, having access to all the files, and I have a couple of students coming back to me saying that in other circumstances, they would stress that they lose their work, they cannot get it, but it was always secure here. Sometimes, people re-upload wrong files, but in the case of the GitHub Classroom, there is no wrong file because that's the only file. You can build up your template repository, which allows you to have your own repository of assessments, which you can pull up and set for particular units. And again, keeping a track of those projects, so those assessments may not, so it can be a very different assessment, or it can be assessments that come with a small change just to adjust to a particular student cohort while keeping the initial assessment there. Yeah, so this is the GitHub Classroom. So I've been using my GitHub Classroom for quite a while. I'm not quite sure how easy I can pull it up now. I should be logged in. So I've been using it for quite a few units here. So when you sign up, I just make sure that I use the University AU as an organization. In this case, I'm keeping everything under one space, right? And I have all my assessments here. So these are individual assignments. So this is the link which I need to copy and provide to students. And these are all the submissions that I can get. So that's a particular links for all these assessments. So I can distribute, very easy to distribute and very easy to have a look. So this is a newer unit, which doesn't really have any submissions. I need to have a look. So which one? I think this one is the one. Right. So that was a group submission. So these are individual groups, and you see, I'm seeing how many attempts they've done. So I can also see how they pace their work throughout the semester and how submissions are made, how often they work on the assessment. So for my educational analytics, it provides a lot of information for me to actually analyze the track. I'm putting together a paper on tracking student progress with GitHub. Quite interesting to see all the results there. Now let's go back. So that's about GitHub Campus. That's about GitHub Classroom. Let's move further. So this is the academic pack, and I suggest that we all sign up with the student developer pack or academic pack, which would be a more accurate term. So if we go there, so this is the academic pack. I'm going to put the link in the chat. I'm going to guide you through how to apply for your academic benefits here. Now, what's on offer? Again, they started as a software program, but it's not limited to software. For example, Canva. I've got so many students are looking using Canva for professional purposes. And when you sign up with the offer, you basically get a 12-month subscription with their pro account. It's quite advanced, and the only thing that you need to do is just to provide your GitHub accounts when you sign up. So I use Canva quite a lot. They also come up with quite a few free domain registration services. For example, for my projects, if you are going to build your professional website, and I also suggest that you explore the resources which I provide at the end on how to easily, without any coding, without any programming, to build your professional website, that you sign up with that offer. Again, it's just nothing, just like sign up with your GitHub account, link to academic benefits, and you are able to register whatever domain names are available. So for domain names, so I use quite a lot of the domain name services. Namecheap is really good, and Name.com are quite good. So they all come with one free domain registration, and then you can set up your email addresses if you want. So by usually with the email, I just keep my email, but that's the space that you can use to have a professional looking website and professional looking domain name. Now, so design is also quite popular. Very popular. So Canva is really cool software package to have, and Bootstrap Studio. I also suggest using Bootstrap Studio to building your website. So it's alternative way on how you can build up your website. But this is if you have a particular project which you want to advertise, but you don't have those coding skills and you don't really want to pay someone, I suggest like using Bootstrap. Comes with a free license. They say while you are a student, but it's actually like any academic. So you set it up and you can use it for any development that you can have. So I have any project that you can have. Really, really good for disseminating your results or popularizing your work. So we all need to think about promoting what we're doing. we're doing a lot, but sometimes just people don't know what we're doing. So Bootstrap Studio is really a really good one. So you also have quite a few software packages with really cool designer fonts and designer capabilities here. So most of my time, so I use design tools. Now also they come with additional packages for teaching, right? So DataCamp. So hopefully you are familiar with DataCamp. They have a lot of training courses on data management and anything to do with data. So it's not particularly coding. It's more about data awareness and data analytical. So you here you get like 3 months individual subscription for students, and you can get a little bit more benefits because you are an academic. Right. Also, you've got some additional platforms that you can use. So I suggest that you go and explore what exactly works for you. Now, productivity. So this is where we all need to, especially with online learning and with all the lockdowns. This is where you track your productivity and you try and see, like, you can be busy all day, but how exactly you make the best of your time, how you make that work-life balance work for you. And finally, virtual events. So this is what I use quite often. So what can be done with virtual events? So explore that area here. Now, to get access to all those fantastic tools, you need to get your pack. Again, it's not students, it's all of us. So we go there, and what exactly we're going to get? So we are going to get. So I'm already verified, so I'm already having my benefits. I'm going to post the link here in the chat, and I suggest that you have a look at that. Steps to sign up with your academic benefits are quite straightforward. If you haven't used your VU email, they will ask you to add your VU email, and then they will ask you to provide a link to your VU page where they can verify that you are a staff member at VU. So just any VU page with your profile at VU will do. So it's just like one-page application which you fill out. Probably should take you like 5 seconds. You submit, and the turnaround time may be between half an hour or a couple of hours. So they come back to you saying that your application has been approved. For my students last time, because I asked all my students to apply for this, just like, and they were really enjoying it apart from the classroom. It was just like a couple of minutes between they sign up with those benefits and they got approval from them. So the email will be sent to your email address, and they confirm that your academic benefits has been approved and you can start enjoying it. Now, when you sign, so if you want to use any of those features, the only thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that you sign up with your GitHub account, if that's the option, or you should sign up with your VU email. Again, if you have any problems, you can contact me by any way, and I will be able to help. So that's the academic student pack. Now we're digging into the training programs which they have, and the one which they have for students is GitHub Experts. So it's more about building, engaging with students and building up student community. Usually what they do, they once or twice a year, they put a call for application for GitHub Experts, and they collect those applications, and those successful ones, they get training from GitHub. Again, one of the buying points is that it looks really, really cool on your resume, especially in technical disciplines, when you can show that you were GitHub expert on your campus. But the range of skills which they offer and which they train on are quite diverse. So it's from soft skills to technical skills. Public speaking, community leadership. Again, those soft skills become especially important now when we are do online teaching, because sometimes my students all like take their cameras off, don't talk in my class. So yeah, I need to somehow make a lot of efforts to actually get them to talk, which is quite different in face-to-face environment. Right. So GitHub Experts is another fantastic program. Right, I'm just going to put the link in here. And so when they advertise, applications are open here. And it's not only about building a community on campus, it's more about building the community worldwide. Again, these days when the remote work becomes quite normal, it doesn't really matter where you exactly you are geographically, and you can collaborate with students on the other continent quite easily. Now let's get back. So that's about student training. We also have GitHub Advisors. So GitHub Advisors, it's more about teaching and building community of academics and educators. You get access to their community forum and their internal events, where you can connect to other academics at other institutions, share your experience, collaborate on some research projects. Once I started using this, my experience connecting to people with high profile was really successful, rather than just sending them an email and asking about any particular projects. So they run a forum and they run special events where you can participate. Now let's move further. I'm just conscious a little bit about time. And now, how can we use GitHub for research? Because usually the misconception is, GitHub is all about technical thing. Not at all. These days, GitHub is more about sharing your work with others. And this is where we go back to the notion of reproducible science and what are the requirements for reproducible science. We've got a manifesto for reproducible science. I do have the link here, but it's more about how can we make sure that our research doesn't have bias, that our research can be reproduced by anyone. So they put a really strong emphasis on this, and they really do a lot of effort building that reproducible space where it's not about sharing your data, but sharing your design, sharing your research methodology, and sharing your findings. Also, I've been very successful at accessing those collaborators on the space. And apart from that, a really big idea that you can create your international profile and you can share your profile. So again, it comes with a notion that you can, that's one of the examples, you shouldn't a very extreme example, right? This is like a person just building his profile in that space. Well, that particular one is an engineer, but it's this is a very simple website which could be built within 5 minutes. So again, this is where you may think about working on a project as a team, and this allows you to to set up your teams as part of the organization, and everyone in your team can have access to the project. This is not limited to a particular institution. So I run projects where I have my collaborators throughout the world, and we are able to contribute to the projects that we're doing. Again, Because you're not limited in terms of what can be uploaded. So it can be data, it can be piece of analysis which you run, and everyone see what you're doing and everyone knows what everyone is doing. It's a project management support which is provided, which means that you can distribute the work within the team. And you can say, for example, I'm just doing a data cleaning for that part of my data. Somebody else is working on another part of the data. So it's more about not running into each other and coordinating and collaborating on the work. Right, so I'll just show you the link here. Right, so they have particular, so apart from those academic benefits, when you apply under educator or researcher discounts, you're going to have additional access to some additional features, which they provide just for researchers. And that allows your collaborators, which are not part of the GitHub Education program to actually work on this. Right. So this is basically my last slide. So we're finalizing, and I looking for your answer for your questions. Yes.
Hi, Maria. Thank you very much for that. It's a fantastic eye opener. I have come across GitHub before, but I have always been a bit hesitant to go into it. So I do appreciate how you make it look quite friendly and not so intimidating.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you probably, as with I would say, as with any new toy, you will be intimidated because it's quite new. So they do have their particular workflow when you start digging into working with projects, but it's more about getting your head around. We do have a team of advisors on campus. I'm just starting to building that up. So I have quite a few students who are able to provide help and able to provide one-on-one consultations. So I would say it's more about starting using the tool. So if you have any particular research, are you more interested in teaching or in research?
More for the research side, actually.
I would say for research, it's really fantastic. I'm keeping the last 3 to 5 years, I've been keeping all my research just on GitHub. And this is like, I've lost a couple of files, like important files on OneDrive when it was not synchronizing correctly. And I was like really stressed because of that. But I noticed that with GitHub, I'm always keeping things on track. And the best thing is that I can go back to as far behind as I can. I know with OneDrive, you can undo some changes when you can go to the history, but it's very limited. And if you delete things, they start charging you money for that. Even whether we have a license, they start charging you money. With GitHub, it's always free. So I've been quite successfully using it for my research projects. What you need to, I'm happy to, if you people are interested in using it for research projects, they're happy to sit down with you individually and set up another workshop when we just go through how exactly to set up your academic research project there. You set up your repository, you add up your organization because if you want other people to have access to that, and then you just start using it. And all the version control, which means tracking, will be automatically. So every time you upload it, it keeps all the track. And then later, when you go to it shows you like a tree with all the work which you've done, and then you just click on a particular step which you want to go back to.
Okay, I got a specific question that I think you'll be able to help me with because you also did the R workshops. So I have got a project where I've got the R scripts that I'm happy to make it open, but the original data set I cannot because I've got a confidentiality agreement. Can that
absolutely. That's exactly what I'm doing. Some of my, I would say the majority of my data is quite sensitive, so I cannot upload it. And another thing is just, I don't really want to take my GitHub space for that because they give you a lot of space, but some of my data sets are really, really huge. So I would prefer not to keep my data set there. I know it's sort of, well, if I lose it, but I would prefer not to keep it there. two options here. So if you want to keep your, it doesn't have to be open source, because as an educator, so when you apply for those benefits, you can set up your private repositories. For example, some of my code, I don't really want to share it yet. And I keep my repositories private, which means only me has access there. Okay. Or if I'm working with my team, it's only me and my team members who have access to that team repository. In any point in time, I can take the code and put it just in my private repository, so even my team cannot see that.
Then how does it help with reproducibility, because they have the script but not the data set to be able to run the script on?
Well, it depends on your data.
Okay.
It depends on your data, because you like reproducibility should be treated in a wider sense here, because okay. It's not only like, you know, if you have the same data set, you apply the same methods and you come up with the same data, it's good. But reproducibility, if you treat in the sense that if you have a different data set, you apply the same methodology, but you come up with similar findings. Okay. So when you talk about insights that you can draw with the data, like particular, like, you know, we still need to make room for that error. So the particular, like, you know, they may not really match, but the insight should be within the same lines. Right? So you can share your code if you want. You don't have to share all of it. You can share some snippets. And it was quite interesting. So I've dig into a couple of like, you know, analytical pieces from my collaborators. You can, like, it's quite easy how you can start a conversation with the person. When you, so some people are like really, you know, what I noticed, like in my area, people use GitHub for 150% of their projects, like everything. And this is where you go and see, like, because it tracks everything, so you can see the statistics, and you see that there is people, they spend like 48 hours a day just doing things. Quite interesting. So private, public, it's all open, and to an extent of how far you want to share your work, you are in full control.
Yeah. Another thing I'm curious to ask you about is that if you use this for teaching and you have a team or a group of students working on it, is there a way for you to observe what is a contribution from each student by way of their commits? And have you been able to weave that into a way of giving them kind of slightly differentiated grades?
Absolutely. For example, like it was just like last week when I submitted my results, I've got one of the group, and the group was complaining, and the group member was complaining. So I did all the work and the other student didn't contribute. And that other student came back and said, oh, well, no, that's not correct. It's just like, it's just as easy. Open up your assessment, open up your submission, and just having a look, like how many times you opened, how many times you did any changes. And because it shows you what sort of changes you did. So like it may be, oh, well, they claim, oh, I've done a lot. But I open this particular commit, I open this particular like a saving, and I see that it's just like a blank space that you're adding. This is not counting as a contribution. I can count that blank space out of 5,000 words or 3,000 word submission and make it your contribution if you want, if that's as value. So this is like where, and since okay, right. So this is where it's a bit of a watchdogs, but you're really big brother watching. You really see what people are, what students are doing there, if you want. Again, but it's more about like, do you if you have a bigger group, like, are you really able to investigate? But they collect all the statistics about how many times people commit and how many times people open things, what's exactly happening. So lots of statistics there. The only thing is just because it's a separate platform, you need to make sure that, like, that was my not a concern, but I had to double check it with my all the teaching and learning I had, that it's fine for them if that will be submitted on GitHub, but then they need to provide to somehow acknowledge it at VU Collaborate, because VU Collaborate needs to have a copy.
Okay, so they submitted essentially twice, is it?
Oh, well, eventually, yes, but the original work, which is so I prepared a template. So like if you are interested, I can show you the template. The template where they show like how they submit and exactly all the steps. All right. I'm using it. I've been using it for yeah, I've been using it for last like probably 6 months as a classroom. Really like it. Just because I actually see what they're doing. You collaborate can be a bit of like a black box when they come up back and just because they submit things, but especially with like some instructional type of assessment. My experience is that using GitHub was a little bit easier to mark and actually to see the progress. And the part, if you are coming from a technical area of like, for example, if you want them to run like regression or anything, it's quite because GitHub has automated like your environments for particular software.
Oh, okay.
So you don't really need to. So I can run it just straight from the GitHub.
Wow.
I don't need to download it to my like local. So I because I usually have that problem. Like if you download it, where you need to keep it, and when you start marking it, so how exactly you mark and how you make your hand around, which one you mark and which one you don't. Right, and this is where you go to the GitHub. You actually see like I'm running this one, and you see it in a second, and they see it in a second. So they can also really claim, oh, I've put that analysis, and that's that. These are the results. So in terms of reproducibility, because I'm providing them with a data set, and the data set, like in my case, the data is not hosted on GitHub. The data is somewhere else. So it just straight from some other repository, which is here. So that's digging into that reproducibility like really big time. So they get a data set from somewhere, they run the code, or they put together the code, and I see the results. And this is where they cannot claim, oh, well, this is exactly like when they do in the Word type of thing, where they put the word together and they just like get results from somewhere and screenshots from somewhere, and then just like just blank out the name of some other students. This doesn't work. So in this case, when we're talking about plagiarism issues and all the ethical concerns, this is really like that puts end to that. So I've been very successfully using it. Very happy to. But the tool itself is so fantastic that probably like just 1 hour is not enough. So it's more about advertising. So I'm happy, very, very happy to talk to each of you personally, like set up one meeting. I do have a team of dedicated fans for GitHub with all these stickers that you can really like those AutoCats. My kids just loving it. Right, and then like myself is just like a cat person and seeing all that. Really, really nice to see the way that they're engaging and making it interactive. So something that would assume to be like boring and like not really that. So really like pushing it up.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I think I can do a direct application for this for the capstone projects, because sometimes you want to track it along as it progresses. They kind of wait till too late. So yeah, I think this is definitely something I can put in the classrooms as well.
Absolutely. If you need any help with that, just bug me, send me an email. Very happy to be
Thank you very much, Maria. I might take you up on that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Anything? I know it's coming late a little bit. All good?
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Alicia.
I actually worked with GitHub before, but so like primary, it was not so much advanced like this that you explained today. There was so beautiful, new features that I learned today. But then I have a question. For example, if I produce something, a document on my account, GitHub account, how it can be possible, for example, to people do not find it like something like Google search?
Yeah, because it has really, so it's Google search. So first, but it's more about like if you have a project together, it's more so just let me go back. So it's more about how you orchestrate your project, right? For example, like for your projects here, you need to, like when people search, they usually search here. So if they search GitHub, they search GitHub over here. It's also accessible via Google, but it's more about how you orchestrate it. So this is where we go. So these are the files. This is the front page which you put together, sort of README, right? So like you make it nice. So this one is not really that nice, but I can show you like really like cool things that people are doing. And now here with the settings, so when you orchestrate your project, right? So you can set up your template, which means the project itself, right? So social preview. So this is where the project itself will be some sort of website page. And it will be on your own. So you go through this, you set up your project, and then look, so more about what exactly you put, what are the keywords you put, what is the description you put. So it's more about, so if you want to popularize your work and distribute your work, how much time you are prepared to put there. So it's not going to be automatic, it's more about how you want to present it, but they provide you with a platform. So when you go, so they have a particular notion of GitHub pages, which is a really cool feature, which allows you to build a website from available templates, right? So they've got theme chooser, and then you just go and choose the theme for your website, and you can just change whatever like a part of that template you want. So they come up like you don't really need to have any coding or anything. Just like these are all the templates which they provide, you can start building from there. And it's just ready-made websites which you can advertise, which is available on the web.
Oh, yes. Okay.
But it's more about like, you are as a marketer, you probably know that it's more about search optimization that you use. So which particular, so what exactly you put here? Do you put pictures? How far is the description you go? So it was like if just it's the code itself, nobody wants it. It's just the data itself, nobody probably would dig into that. But if you make it attractive, that can work.
So I need to just like create a website to be available.
If you need to, if you want to, no, absolutely not. It's just like one of the ways to make it to stand out, right? It's always, if your repository is public, it's always discoverable, but you need to make sure that when you put a description for your repository, that you really describe it. Right?
Oh, yes.
So it's like if your project is about, for example, social media, medical things, medical research, then when you go to the description, just need to make sure that you actually put what you want here, that you actually upload image, put the description. So when people see your repository, so your repository at least has some README file which explains what you're doing, but it's all discoverable.
Okay, thank you very much.
For every project, so it's projects that you not only have in your drawer, sleeping and waiting for somewhere, but it's somewhere there. And it may be that if you put all your projects on the GitHub, then some projects which you sort of stopped working like a couple of years ago, people will still come back to you, and what they're going to do, they're going to erase those issues. That's what is it called? And they want to put in, so if I want to collaborate, I will go to issues for a particular project, and I will say like new issue, and I will put a new issue that your data like is limited to, let's say, 2018. I want to extend your data set, and I think there are a couple of new variables which we need to include. So you just leave your comment here, and that comment will be sent automatically to your potential collaborator, and then they can reply and start a conversation with you.
Great. That's great. These are little to know that I have plenty of time to spend on this website.
Oh, it's amazing too, and they keep building and they keep building it. So they keep building.
Yeah, but this is amazing. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Any other questions, or should we finalize? What do you think? I think right. So all the so we are recording this session. So this session will be available later, and also all the slides which I showed with all the links I'm going to just disseminate that as well. So thank you all for coming, and hopefully like you managed to get something from this, and it was a bit of value of our busy time. So thank you so much for your participation, and let's keep in touch. So happy
Absolutely.
to again
It's been
my
a
email
good session. Thanks, Maria.
If you want any one-on-one training or any workshops, happy to organize it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.